Half of these soils are sealed. This is soil from which nothing can grow.
Yeah, pretty intense, huh? Okay. Yeah. Now. Okay. Some words to the process. This project also included a very long research phase. Nobody paid this, but I read a couple of books about this topic, and I think this is really important for a topic like this, that you have an idea about the topic and what stays behind all this. It also helps when thinking about visual ideas for this film. Compared to overfishing, one difference was that this time I had scientific support. So those were the scientists from the institute. And the good thing about this is that they obviously know a lot of stuff about soil, but it's not always easy because they're not good in keeping things short and simple. So I had always to say like, no, that's too much, let's leave this out. Otherwise it would be 8 minutes like this, and nobody would want this. Generally, the institute is it's a super nice client, and they are always thankful when it comes to new ideas, and because they always see those kind of visualizations of soil. So there's cross sections here of soil that you know from books from school.
Yeah. Like back then, when Uli asked me to join the project, basically I thought it would be something like this, and maybe not so fun. But
Yeah, so we thought about nice, fresh ideas of visualizing soil, and this is what we came up with. This is a tile, and the good thing about this tile is that you can add more tiles, flip the tiles, and funny things like that. So, and you just saw it, like every scenery of this film is made up of those tiles. We can visualize erosion and whatever. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Nice. This project also had a very long pre-production before it went to production, which just took 5 weeks, us two, the real production. But in the pre-production, we did things like the storyboard, which is very detailed. Like if something changes in the scenery, it is all documented here. And the moment when Ronny came into this project, everything looked like this. And the good thing about working with Ronny is that he takes this and makes it into something like this. I don't know if you see the difference. Yeah. Another scene here, the evil pump that is at the end of the supermarket shelves. I think you have already seen this kind of stuff. Looked like this in the storyboard and this in the movie. You can see this online. Yeah, check it out.
Okay. So, yeah, like usually, of course, there would have been like a more sophisticated classical 3D animation production, but like due to this really, really small amount of time, like 5 weeks for the whole production, basically everything went directly on the fly from storyboard into production. So yeah, but was also kind of refreshing. Of course, that's not always possible, but yeah, that time it was nice. Okay. So yeah, we were like really, really lucky that again this got staff picked and kind of, I don't know, overnight had like really a lot of views, which obviously made us very happy. And the funny thing was, in contrast to like other productions, like commercial productions, we got some really cool comments on Vimeo, YouTube, wherever. For example, something like this. My students really like this, much more interesting than listening to me talk about dirt. Awesome. We even got some emails from teachers from all over the world.
Yeah, and also students who showed this piece in the lesson, and they didn't have to prepare anything else.
So it was really nice to have some real feedback that it was something good that we put out there. And also this, a great video. I've made a Russian version of this video. Awesome. So back when we uploaded it, because it was made for this conference, we even had like a French, Spanish, German version. I think that's it. English, of course. But yeah, this was pretty cool, and trust me, that doesn't happen in your commercial projects. No one does a translation for you. So that was pretty nice. But of course, we also got these kinds of comments. Also nice.
Yeah.
Right.
And it actually was done in cinema. It was my first project with cinema. I don't know why it changed, because everybody was using cinema, I think. And it was always good to sit right next to Ronny, because he's a living Cinema 4D tutorial. That was pretty handy. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so between these two frames, 3 years basically passed.
Yeah.
And yeah, then there was another request by our almost favorite client for natural stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 years later, the Institute for Advanced Sustainability Studies asked for a second part of the film, and it was, of course, again about soil. This time, it was more about showing the connections between humans and soils, how they use soil for as a source of food and income. And it should not be like in the first part, just visualizing the hard facts from this topic, but have like more of a positive ending and really give the viewer the feeling that it is possible to do something. What is also different than before is that we collaborated from the beginning, so we developed the script together and everything. Also with Robert Pohle from Schnelle Bunte Bilder, they were there the last time here, good buddies from us. And what we also wanted to achieve was a more cinematic approach. So no long transition animation anymore. So we actually use cuts. Yeah, it's a great invention of filmmaking. But of course, we still want to use these clever transitions that we always developed in the films before, to show also the correlations between different topics. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, you guessed it, the movie.
So this one isn't too long, so we might show it completely.
Yeah. It's 4 minutes long. We show it anyway.
Imagine for a moment if all of the Earth's fertile soil were to run out. No soil, not a very comfortable life. The furniture in your home, the device you are using to watch this film, the food in your refrigerator, even the clothes on your back. All this would not exist without soil. Yet this resource, formed over thousands of years, is quickly being used up. We had better act now. We are becoming increasingly detached from the land and from the soil. Over half of the world's population now lives in cities, and by 2050, cities will house almost 70% of humanity. Hungry cities devour massive amounts of fertile soil. They also need vast hinterlands for food and raw materials. 40% of European groceries are produced by soils in other continents. Each bite has global consequences. We are eating from other people's plates. The livelihoods of people around the world depend on access to fertile soil. Farmers need to own or have long-term access to their lands in order to manage them sustainably. The current political climate often supports highly industrialized forms of agriculture. While providing the means for a quick profit, the soil is exhausted through excessive production. Pesticides, monocultures, and intensive irrigation wear the soil out. One thing is clear, short-term interests make the soil infertile. This also endangers the way of life of many rural people. However, land movements around the world are asserting their rights with increasing success. In order for large-scale changes to take effect, political solutions are necessary. Land rights and the protection of soils require laws and regulations internationally as well as in each country. It is the duty of governing bodies to take action. Long-term, secure land tenure forms the foundation for the sustainable management of soil. If we manage to combine traditional knowledge with the insights of modern science, we can, even with limited means, secure successful harvests over the long term. Learning from one another, eye to eye. Soil conservation is a shared quest for solutions which protect the soil and which guarantee a sufficient food supply for all of us. Large-scale agricultural operations in particular have the responsibility to use their most important resource, the soil, in a sustainable manner, for it is their products that end up in our shopping carts. Every day we make choices. Whether we buy products imported from the far ends of the earth, or those produced in our region. Whether we eat a lot of meat or more vegetables. And whether we rather choose to buy organic. We have responsibility. With each product, we determine the weight of the purchases in our cart. Our consumption leaves tracks around the world. What we decide to do or not do has consequences. We must take a critical look and make informed decisions. Because even the smallest decision carries weight.
Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, the super nice music was also done by our studio neighbors, Kling Klang Klong. If you need music, go to them. Okay, so yeah, this is like how we started, because this time we kind of were able to plan better, and there was also more budget. So basically we could do like a more classical 3D animation production. And of course in the beginning, when you have to do a second part of something, just think of Star Wars, the pressure is really high, because the client also wants the same success again. So okay, we started with these kind of mood boards. There's only like a really small part of it. And in the very, very beginning, we were kind of undecided. Okay, maybe again we do this 3D isometric approach like in the first movie. But on the other hand, we were really, really tempted to do something more 2D style. So we thought, okay, let's do an experiment and maybe combine these things. And also, we wanted to use some more colors like this, and not only green, brown, yellow. This time also blue, red, just for a change. And so yeah, that's where we started. And of course, again, we did like super complex storyboards. It's also only a small part. And
and of course we also, after the storyboard phase, we did this visualizations, where you see the classic cinema Zigote. I don't know if you know this thing. But this was actually a very good tool for us, because in advance we could test like different shots. Especially with this shot, we had our concerns that this wouldn't really work, this rotation of the camera in the middle of the table. But we actually saw here in this previous, it's just for 4 frames that we are looking not at these characters, but we just saw here in the previous that it will work. Yeah.
Also, this is one of those really, really rare examples where the previs looks more realistic than the final film. And okay, so we needed lots of characters, because in our story we needed characters all over the world. So that was really nice that we had Robert from Schnelle Runde Bilder on board, because he has like more a traditional 2D background. And in the very beginning he designed a lot of those character sketches. And also interesting to mention, in the very beginning we wanted to do 3D environments with 2D characters, but very, very fast it turned out to be like super complex, like lots of technical issues. So in the end we went back to this, so 3D characters combined like with hand-drawn, digital hand-drawn textures, like rough brush textures, and So that's what we ended up with.
Yeah. So we had like 4 different base characters, and we put in variation by adding like different heads or different hairs, stuff like that. And also, of course, because the hand-drawn textures, it was pretty easy to add some variation to the characters.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this point. Let's do a giant spider robot factory. Yeah, like, of course, in the very beginning, when we did the first film, we kind of earned like a lot of trust from the client, and yeah, we were able to pull off some really silly ideas. But those ideas made the first movie kind of entertaining and fun. So this time we decided, okay, let's kind of find a nice look for land grabbing. So we came up with these giant spider robot factories who are land grabbing. But yeah, the client obviously was more like this. So, really?
Yeah, they were not completely sold from the beginning on.
We don't know why.
We don't know why, but eventually we explained them that it is way more interesting to visualize land grabbing with images like these here than just show how it is in the real world, like some politicians sitting at a table and discussing about things like that. So it was always our goal to find like nice metaphors for visualizing all this kind of stuff. Speaking of metaphors or images for this, it's also like this scene where we have the Western guy eating from other people's plates in another part of the earth, or the next shot where we see that we actually leave traces with our daily consume in the supermarket floor. Yeah. I hope you got that in the movie. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, a bit more to the technical approach. Like as I said earlier, we used kind of these digital hand-drawn rough brush textures. But of course, since we were already working in 3D, we used Octane this time. We wanted to combine this kind of rough look with the benefits of 3D. So basically, we made these textures based on photo colors, but combined them with like specular maps, like here. So we could kind of have like hand-drawn windows, which were actually reflecting like daylight and stuff like that, which was for us like a really nice experiment. And we ended up with scenes like this, which is quite interesting to see. It's like with and without textures. So basically a lot in this film was solved through textures. And in the very beginning, that was also the idea, okay, awesome, let's save some time by doing like only really, really blocky stuff, except the characters, and yeah, solve everything through textures so we don't have to model everything. Of course, that kind of turned out to be super wrong, because if you want to have super nice textures and everything, you have to make super nice UV unwraps of everything, and you have to paint all these textures. So maybe in the end it saved some time, because, for example, as you can see here in the back, this train is just planes with texture, so no modeling needed. But yeah, we kind of definitely underestimated this. But it was a good learning. Okay. So...
Yeah, but we cannot only talk about soil, we can also talk about organ donations, which leads us to our next project that we did together for Junge Helden. Loosely translated, this is Young Heroes. Yeah. Yeah, this project has a very long process behind it. In 2013, Junge Helden called me, again because they saw we were fishing, and they wanted to have a movie that explains the process of an organ donation. About Junge Helden is an organization that, as you can see here, raises awareness for the topic of organ donation. They do a lot of awareness work, talks in schools, they organize events like parties, with a lot of support from local celebrities. And what you also need to know about organ donation is that it really is different from country to country. So here in Germany, it is like that your relatives have the last word when it comes to an organ donation. So if they don't know if it's okay for you, to donate your organ, they have to make this decision on their own. That's why we have like this very German ID card here. This is an organ donation ID. You can fill in your name and stuff like this. And on the other side, you can say like, yes, I want my organs to be donated in case of a brain death, or no, I don't want this. This is a very helpful tool, so your relatives don't have to take this decision on their own. What we especially liked about Junge Helden is that their motto is, also loosely translated, decisive is a decision. So it doesn't depend whether you say, yes, I want my organs to be donated or no. It's just about, okay, I've made up my mind about this and don't want to leave my relatives alone with this decision.
Yeah, maybe to add for those people who aren't from Germany, this is so very important because this organ donation ID, you don't have to have it. It's kind of, you can do it. The problem is if you don't have it and something happens to you, basically your family is screwed with this decision of, oh shit, we don't know what he or she would do. So yeah, so this is the thing, like you can just make it easier.
Yeah.
And in other countries, for example, if something happens to you and you don't say no in the beginning, you are an organ donor.
Yeah.
But in Germany, that's very different, so this is why it's so important that a lot of awareness is raised here.
Yeah. Okay, again, about the process, first of all, I want to do it on my own, which was a pretty crazy idea, because the budget wasn't very good. That's why I didn't want to have so many people in the project. I thought I could do it, but that was wrong. And yeah, that's when I got Ronny again and Robert on board. And Ronny luckily just had finished work on a couple of more commercial projects.
Yeah, so that's the thing, like, what is the motivation behind when someone asks you, hey, we have this project, it's awesome, but there's not much budget, so what's the motivation? So the thing is, like, I don't know, like, how many of you here are students, for example, but trust me, it happens way more often in, like, real commercial work, that at the end of a project you sometimes cannot even show it due to some NDA stuff. And back then, when Uli asked me, basically for almost half a year before, it happened a lot to me, and I worked for half a year and I wasn't able to show anything due to weird regulations. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer, again, to kind of work with people who I like and do stuff where no marketing agency or whatever is involved, and you can just show what you want and you can try out stuff that doesn't happen so often in everyday commercial business life. So yeah, I joined the train.
Yeah, that was very good. So in all spare time we had doing other projects, and also for a longer continuous time we worked on this to finish it, and we want to show you the video. Unfortunately, this is just in German. I hope you will get it anyway. That's what we do, visualize information, so that everybody can understand it.
Zunächst stellt sich die generelle Frage, wer braucht eine Organspende? Auf eine Organspende könnte jeder irgendwann angewiesen sein. Zum Beispiel wegen Herz-Muskelerkrankungen, die schon als Folge einer verschleppten Grippe auftreten können. Um ein Spendeorgan erhalten zu können, muss sich der Patient bei einem Transplantationszentrum vorstellen. Dort wird zunächst untersucht, ob er für eine Transplantation in Frage kommt. Anhand einer Checkliste werden unter anderem folgende Fragen geklärt. Ist die Erkrankung so weit fortgeschritten, dass eine Transplantation gerechtfertigt ist? Sind alle anderen Therapieoptionen ausgeschöpft? Und ist der Patient fähig, die langwierige Therapie konsequent zu verfolgen? Ob eine Transplantation angestrebt werden soll, beschließen 3 Ärzte verschiedener Fachrichtungen gemeinsam. Die finale Entscheidung treffen letztlich Patient und Arzt. Ist die Entscheidung für eine Transplantation getroffen, meldet der Arzt den Patienten bei Eurotransplant. Eurotransplant ist eine Stiftung mit Sitz in den Niederlanden. Innerhalb der kooperierenden Staaten werden Organe von verstorbenen Spendern ausschließlich über Eurotransplant vermittelt. Unser Patient wird nun auf eine Warteliste gesetzt. Auf dieser Liste stehen allein in Deutschland ca. 11.000 Menschen. Das Warten beginnt. Damit eine Transplantation überhaupt möglich ist, müssen Organe gespendet werden. Organe kommen jedoch nur in dem seltenen Fall eines Hirntods für eine Transplantation in Frage. Hirntod heißt, dass alle Hirnfunktionen unwiederbringlich erloschen sind, wobei die Herz-Kreislauf-Funktion durch künstliche Beatmung aufrechterhalten. Dadurch werden die Organe weiterhin durchblutet und bleiben funktionsfähig. Der Hirntod tritt jedoch nur in ca. 1% aller Todesfälle auf. Es gibt verschiedene Möglichkeiten, wie ein Hirntod eintritt. Zum Beispiel bei einem Unfall mit schweren Kopfverletzungen. Sind die Hirnschädigungen so schwerwiegend, dass keine weiteren lebensrettenden Maßnahmen zur Verfügung stehen, wird die Hirntoddiagnostik eingeleitet. Dabei werden von 2 unabhängigen Ärzten im Abstand von mindestens 12 Stunden spezielle Untersuchungen durchgeführt, durch die der Hirntod eindeutig festgestellt wird. Wird man durch den Hirntod zu einem potenziellen Organspender, folgt ein Gespräch mit den Angehörigen, um zu klären, ob einer Organentnahme zugestimmt wird. Hier ist ein Organspendeausweis oder sonstige Kenntnis über den Willen des Verstorbenen entscheidend, denn sonst sind die Angehörigen mit dieser schweren Entscheidung auf sich alleine gestellt. Liegt eine Zustimmung vor, meldet das Krankenhaus diesen potenziellen Organspender an die Deutsche Stiftung Organtransplantation, kurz DSO. Die DSO steuert und koordiniert die Abläufe zwischen Kliniken, Angehörigen, Eurotransplant, Organtransport und Transplantationschirurgie. Durch die DSO wird nochmals genau untersucht, ob die zu entnehmenden Organe funktionsfähig sind und der Spender nicht an Vorerkrankungen, wie beispielsweise HIV leidet. Ergeben diese Untersuchungen, dass die Organe gesund sind, wird eine mögliche Organspende an Eurotransplant gemeldet. Eurotransplant ermittelt jetzt für diese Organe passende Empfänger. Dazu wird eine anonymisierte Matchliste erstellt. Die entscheidenden Faktoren dabei sind Dringlichkeit, Erfolgsaussicht und in einigen Fällen auch die Wartezeit der Patienten. Wird ein passender Empfänger gefunden, informiert Eurotransplant das zuständige Transplantationszentrum. Ist der Empfänger in einem operationsfähigen Zustand, macht sich ein Schubfallentnahmechirurg auf den Weg in das Krankenhaus, in dem der Verstorbene liegt. Die Organentnahme entspricht in ihrem Ablauf einer normalen Operation und die Wunden werden danach genäht. Anschließend können die Angehörigen in Ruhe Abschied nehmen. Jetzt muss es schnell gehen. Die Organe werden per Auto, Flugzeug oder Hubschrauber zum Bestimmungsort gebracht. Je nach Organ dürfen Transport und Transplantation maximal 4 bis 24 Stunden in Anspruch nehmen.
Okay, we don't want to spoil anything here, that's why we finish, and it goes even for 1 minute longer. So, yeah, watch it online.
So yeah, just in case if you're wondering about a weird voice, that is Joko Winterscheid, German, supposed to be a super good entertainer, I don't know. And he's also part of this organization, Junge Helden, so that's why he did the voice acting for this. So yeah, but as you saw, pretty heavy topic.
Yeah. Again, some words on the ideas behind it. I told you that I first had the plan on doing it on my own, and when I thought about that, I tried to use no characters in this film, because it would be too time consuming. This is obviously a very stupid idea when you talk about organ donation, because it's obviously about humans, yeah. But when I got Ronny and Robert on board, with the manpower of 3, it was obviously no problem anymore to fill this waiting room with 100 CG characters. So we were 3, no problem at all. Yeah, of course, a concept behind this is again this endless transition thing. And we took the already working concept from Let's Talk About Soil, which we already saw, to the next level and added walls. Yeah. Like with Let's Talk About Soil, we can do also nice stuff, like rotating it, change of scenery, adding another room, and stacking them so you have this building. This shot is actually not in the film, but it's a nice behind the scenes look at the film. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, since this is kind of part 3 of our talk, and by now you maybe know already our process, and we don't want to talk again about storyboards, previous, whatsoever. We thought, okay, let's do a short little cut down, making off. This is actually like a kind of world premiere now. We just made it, that we don't have to talk so much.
Yeah. Yeah, we finished today, so the quality is not super good. But anyway, let's watch it. Okay.
Moving slow, parsing our sentence, and singing to the earth. Saying, oh my God, I don't care about the car. And oh my God, I don't care at all. And my words can't compare to your images and numbers, and I can't be a best word play. Oh,
Yeah, very short.
So, as you could see, it was like a really ridiculous amount of stuff we needed to build for this film. And in the very beginning, I remember Ronny even wrote some emails to suppliers of medicinal, like monitors and stuff like that, if they would maybe help us out with 3D models. Because if you want to show something like this, you kind of have to show the real stuff. So, but yeah, no one helped us, so we had to build everything on our own, and yeah, that's what we did. So, okay.
Yeah, and we want to end our talk with some learnings that we gained throughout all the projects. One thing, or one question which we asked ourselves a lot during the process was, is it worth all this? Yeah, because it's really a lot of work. Yeah, but of course it is worth all this. It's really very motivating to work on topics like this and also have like a lot of freedom in the creative process. Like we concepted everything on our own and just had very little comments, or if it were comments, it was not like, for marketing reasons, it's not possible to do it like this, but always like very how do you say, inhaltlich, content-wise, I don't know. So it's a lot of fun working on those kind of topics.
So yeah, and as you hopefully saw, these kind of science or social projects definitely can be fun, even if the topic may sound boring in the beginning, but well, it's all up to you in the end, what you do with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, for us it's always like finding a good balance between like this kind of work and more commercial work that we also like to do.
But in the end, it's just selling stuff, just products.
Yeah.
Next year, a new product.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to do like something else in between, which has like a real, hopefully, real impact on the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and the last learning is collaborate with each other. That's very obvious, but yeah, it really makes projects better. Yeah, that's it from us. Again, some short thank you to some persons who worked on especially Junge Helden and also weren't part of the big budget. Christina, who did comping for Junge Helden, David helped us a lot with the characters, Dominic did all kinds of stuff, Mars did Fluffy Cloud, Sebastian Werner rigged the spider robot, and Mike rigged another character which you haven't seen. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks again to Ronny and Uli. We will do a short break, about 10 to 15 minutes, for you to grab a drink, get some fresh air, and then we will gather around here for the next talk. Hast du sehr gut gemacht. Boah, hier, Laserpoint.
Das ist ganz geil, oder? Das ist so ein bisschen wie in so einem Game, ne? Wo es so eckige Motion Blurs gibt. Das ist der Google Slides, ist geil. Hätten wir auch gar nicht anders machen können, ne? Weil wir waren ja auf verschiedenen Sachen gerade berufen. Wir konnten so halt schön dezentral daran arbeiten. Voll gut. So, ja? Ja, vor allem, wenn wir das. Oder?
Habt ihr angefangen? Die Autos haben mich nicht durchgelassen. Ja, es war jetzt halt nur enttäuscht. Aber Uli meinte zu mir, er sei eigentlich die Letzten, aber er ist nicht mehr alles gut, alles gut.